Hello, welcome to our next module topic, which is lesson 2, the distributive property. And what the distributive property is, it's a property in algebra into different problems. So in simplest terms, A times B plus C equals AB plus AC. Now I want you to notice what this A plus B plus C is. Notice how I say it. It's A times B plus C. Notice where I put my emphasis in. I put my emphasis in the multiplication. Hear it again. A times or A multiplied B plus C. So this is a multiplication problem. And when you distribute, which is multiplying the A by every term in the parentheses, so A times B is AB and A times C is AC, look at what the kind of the answer comes out to be. AB plus AC is a sum problem. So you get AB plus AC by multiplying A times B and then multiplying A times C. Now, why does this work? Well, let's just think of some very basic numbers. Okay, 5 times 7. Hopefully, we all know that 5 times 7 is 35. And 7 can be written in many different ways. And one of the ways it can be written is 3 plus 4. So if I rewrite 5 times 7 as 5 times 3 plus 4, and then I use the distributive property, look what happens. And what the distributive property says to do, I multiply the 5 times the 3, and then I multiply the 5 times the 4. And 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20, and when I add those numbers, I get 35, which is the same thing as 5 times 7. We also know that 7 can be written in subtraction form, like 10 minus 3. So if I did 5 times 7 and we wrote it as 5 times 10 minus 3, okay, that's 5 times 10 plus, now if we use the formula that we do up here, you put a plus sign here and then multiply these two numbers, and these two numbers are 5 and negative 3. So by using the formula exactly how it's written, it's 5 times 10 plus 5 times negative 3. 5 times 10 is 50. Times 3 is negative 15. And we learned in our first lesson, the basic operations of subtraction. When one number is positive and one number is negative and you're adding, you actually subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is positive 50, so my answer will be positive, and 50 minus 15 is 35. Once you get really good at distributive property, you don't always have to write it as a plus in the middle here. You know that you are multiplying 5 times 10 and then 5, and then you can put the minus signs. This is the minus sign in the middle, put a minus sign in the middle here, and just multiply 5 times 3. So it becomes 50 minus 15, which is 35. Now, add variables with it, so it makes it a little bit more challenging, but nothing that we can't handle here. Okay. Example 1, 5 times 2x plus 4. Okay. Again, we distribute the 5. So that means 5 times 2x, and then multiply the 5 times 4. So 5 times 2x plus 5 times 4. And you can see with these little arrows what I'm doing here. I'm multiplying the 5 times the 2x and putting a plus sign in the middle, and then multiplying the 5 times 4. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times 4 is 20. So the answer is 10x plus 20. Example 2, you got to be very careful with the negative and the minus signs here. Okay, we multiply. Notice the arrows, what I'm doing here. So 8 times negative 3x. Again, you have two ways of doing this. You could write plus, always put a plus in the middle, and then write 8 times negative 5, because that number is negative 5 if you write it that way. Or you could write, if you wanted to, you could write 8 times negative 3x. And then because of the minus in the middle, put a minus there. And then 8 times 5. Okay. And either way, you end up with a negative 24x and a minus 40 in the middle. So negative 24x minus 40. Remember, negative 24x plus a negative 40. We have a plus and a plus negative next to each other. It's a minus. Okay. Example 3. When you multiply variables of the same variable, then you add the exponents. So 2x times x plus 2x times 3. 2x times x is 2x squared, and I wanted to show you how it's written, like how you would write it in your notes. Okay. In text form on the computer, it's written 2x, and so carried as a 2, meaning that goes up here on the top right of the x as an exponent. But it's written 2x squared, and then 2x times 3 is plus 6x. An example 4, when your variables are different, then you just combine them together, like put them right next to each other. You multiply the numbers together, you put the variables next to each other. So 3a times 2m is 6am, and then 3a times negative 4c is a negative 12ac. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, and then put the a and c, they all attached to each other. Okay. And I want to give you one more example. Okay. Distributive property does not only have to have 2 terms in the parentheses. It could have as many terms as you want it to have. So again, I'm going to rewrite this how you'd put it in your notes. This is 3x squared, parentheses, 2x cubed. You always put the exponents on the top right of the variable. Okay. Minus 4x plus 3y squared minus 9. Okay. And as you can see with my arrows, we're going to multiply 3x squared times every term inside the parentheses. So it's 3x squared times 2x cubed, 3x squared times a negative 4x, or if you want to, you can put a minus 3x squared times 4x, 3x squared times 3y squared, and 3x squared times negative 9, or again, you can put a minus right here in the middle there. Just write 3x squared times 9. Okay. And remember, because a couple things are going to happen here. Remember that when the variables are the same, we add the exponents, and when the variables are different, we put them together. So x squared times x cubed, they're both x's, so we add the exponents, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So we got 6x to the 5 to the 5th power. The 6 comes from the 3 times the 2 here. 3 times negative 4 is your negative 12. And I put a little 1 here. The exponent of the x is a 1 when you don't normally have it there. So x squared times x to the 1, add the 2 and the 1, you get 3. So this becomes minus 12x cubed. Here the variables are different, so we're going to put them together. So 3 times 3 is 9. It's 9x squared y squared. And then 3 times negative 9 is negative 27. So you have negative 27x squared. And this is our answer right here. Okay. In our next lesson, I'm going to show you a lot more examples. We're going to do some problems on our own. You'll have a homework assignment for this lesson of distributive property. And I'll see you next time. Have a good day.